Next is Phyllis. Tell us about yours.
Muted.
Yeah, she's working on it. Can you not get unmute? There you are.
There you go.
Okay, this is a quilt for Terry's project that she has, that she needs all the twin size quilts for. And I call it a calendar quilt because each block represents 1 month. There's January, February, March, April, May, June.
Very good.
And then all of these pieces were the beginners and enders that I'd been collecting. They were just sitting in a pile, and I just put them all together, and that's for Terry.
Wonderful.
And Sheila
Very
quilted.
nice.
I
It's a great quilt.
Yeah, I think Sheila quilted this one.
Yeah,
Yes? Okay, thank you.
I did. Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I can't remember sometimes. Okay. And
That's
then,
a fun idea.
yeah, just
Mm-hmm.
scraps.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very
Organic
fun.
scraps.
There's a couple other ones. Did you get the other ones too?
Yeah, I did. Here's the next one.
Okay, this I did not do. This was also quilted by Sheila. This I only put the binding on, but it's a quilt of valor, and I just wanted you to see what's going to a quilt of valor. I think Kathy Bless did this one.
Right.
Very pretty.
Yeah, and so I just put the binding on it for her, and that was it.
That's all right. You get to show it.
Yeah.
And then this one's gorgeous.
I did make.
You did.
And that was I talked to myself a lot doing this one.
What were you
Sometimes-
saying to yourself?
Is it good or bad?
Hey, what did you do that for? So anyway, it's a pretty good sized quilt, but it is also going to Quilt of Valor. And Sheila did also quilt this one.
Beautiful.
So I'll give these to Anne.
Yeah, I love that one. That's beautiful.
It was a pattern from a magazine, and it turned out really well. I'm very pleased with it.
Very fun.
You talked yourself really well.
I'm sorry, say it again.
You did some good talking.
Yeah. At 2 o'clock in the morning, you can, yes.
Very pretty.
Okay, next is Sheila. You sent me interesting things.
Yeah, a little different. So y'all have got to get some of these slotted trimmers. These rulers here, there's two rulers, and one is for even sizes and one is for half sizes. So you can do them anywhere from 1.5 to 6.5 inches. And those triangles are they're half square triangles, and those are all the shavings and whatnot. And these are going to be used to make a quilt for my new grandbaby coming. This is opened up, but you trim it before you iron it. And this is the coolest ruler I've ever used, and it's slotted on the sides. So you trim it, and then you just do the ruler in on the corner, and so it cuts the dog ears off.
Okay.
And I think it's like $30 for those two, and they do have some that are bigger than that. Say again. Do what, Carol Ann?
I said May was holding up hers.
Oh, I didn't see May. But I love these.
You can't see it.
Yeah, it's hard when you take the paper off. That's why I put that piece of paper behind it so you could see it better. But yeah, that slotted trimmers, I won those on a Instagram giveaway thing. And I thought, well, that's cool because I wanted to try them. But it's been several months, and now I have a project. So that's what that's going to be. So next show and tell, I'll have the top done to show. So
Good.
That's cool. I want to try them.
I can put it in your mailbox if you want, Francis.
Let me get there. If I get there and get ready to do it, I'll holler at you and borrow it from you.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, my sister
May, do
gave
you
me
like-
mine.
Do you like yours, May?
I've only used it once, and yes, it was, the problem was my triangle was smaller than the smallest notch.
Ah,
So,
Oh my,
so I haven't used
that's
it,
really small.
used it yet. So,
Yeah.
all right,
Do
Sheila.
you have
Okay,
the big
yes.
one, May? Do you have the
I'm
big
sorry?
one, May? Do you have the big one instead of,
let's see what it says.
yeah, it looks bigger.
It goes from 1.5 to 10.5.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Okay, mine goes to 6.5, so mine's
Oh, okay.
smaller. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Sheila.
So I told my husband if I was going to be long arming and ironing these big backs for the quilts and of course the tops too, that I need a bigger ironing board, and I needed him to make me one. So he did.
Super.
It is
Ah,
21
terrific.
inches wide. So it'll do a half a yard,
A yard.
which is nice because it'll do a half a yard cut. So it's 21 inches wide and it's 8 feet long. And
Wow.
it is the coolest thing. So the bottom of it is done in 2 separate pieces. So they're approximately 4 foot each, and well, a little bit smaller than that. And then the top is a separate piece, and it fits down on top of the bottom 2 pieces, because then that way you can move it. First of all, I told him I needed the top to come off because eventually I'll need to change out the pad on it.
Hmm.
And, I said, I need to be able to do that easily. So it needs to come off, but it needs to be sturdy. And he was like, well, we can't get an 8-foot piece like that down the stairs and all this stuff. And so he made it 2 separate pieces, and it's great because then, when we move someday, it'll be easy for us to move.
Now, that's
So,
great.
I love it.
Yeah, the one that I have that fits over my ironing board is that 21 inches wide. And that is so great because you can just put down a half a yard and iron it, or
Oh,
fat
yeah.
quarters or anything, just really easily. Very cool. Okay, and then next we have your quilt.
So this is not mine. My aunt made this, and this is for our new grandbaby.
Mhm.
She's going to be a great, great aunt. Unbelievable. And their theme for their nursery is stars and moon. And it's gray and navy, which that's why I'm doing these, because they're gray, and it's not navy, but it's a dark blue.
Mhm.
And so I'm doing one for that theme. And then 2 weeks ago, I showed that race car quilt that I'm making for him. But Jacob, my son, I don't know, he wanted a black and white quilt. So my aunt said, I'll make him the black and white quilt. So this is what she made, and with the theme of the stars, these wonky stars, and I love it.
that's gorgeous.
And
It is gorgeous.
she's a long armor as well. And she picked a solid black for the back. So the back will show the next slide will show the quilting,
Mhm.
and I loved her quilting choice too.
This child's going to be well warmed.
Yes.
Yes, he's gonna come into the world with 3 quilts for sure. So
He's gonna be spoiled.
yes.
Ooh, look at
Oh,
that.
wow.
Isn't that fun?
It
Look-
is.
Isn't that cool?
Moons and stars, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a
And
great
his
pattern.
name is obviously down there. It's going to be Knox Lee Shepherd. So
Hmm.
Uh,
Very
Knox
sweet.
was my maiden name.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Will he go by Knox
Yeah,
or
Knox.
will he go by Lee?
Knox.
Knox. Cool.
They
So is
talked
that-
about,
Sorry.
they talked about running it together and calling him Knoxley and just kind of saying it all together. But I don't think that's going to stick. So
No. Well, I found out in the last couple of weeks that I have 2 nieces that are expecting, and one's expecting twin boys. So it's like, okay, that's a lot of quilts.
oh, how fun.
When you quilt something like that,
is it drawn out? I know you're doing a long arm. Is it drawn out or is it like, how do you, like, it's so compact. How does that work?
Mine is computerized, and so you manipulate the program to where it does the size that you want it to be. So you can make it as dense, or like if you didn't want if it was a dense quilting pattern and you didn't want it as dense, you would just blow it up bigger. Or if it was not very dense, you could make it smaller. So
Thank you.
and then it repeats over and over, and it actually does it in rows. If you if you look across the top, you can see the bottoms of those moons. That's somewhere in there is the break, because it does it in rows. The machine will do it in rows, and then you roll it up. So I don't know where the break is in that one. I haven't really examined it, but for the break, but the good, if I was always taught that a good sign of a good long armor is that it's hard to tell where the break is. So, but sometimes you can easily tell the break, but it's not the long armor, it's the way that the quilt design is made. So sometimes
Pretty
it's
design.
easy to